Hello everybody and welcome on my channel. I'm Victoria Moore, a fashion blogger and stylist from Miami. I will really appreciate if you add like to this video and subscribe, it will mean a lot to me. But now, let's come back to the video. Today, I want to talk with you about shoes which I recommend to wear and which I probably will not recommend to wear. Of course, you have the right to decide what you want to wear and no one can stop you from doing so. But I decided to give my own advice and perspective on what is relevant and what is not. So, first type of shoes about which I want to talk are loafers. And I want to start with models which I would not buy, and here is why. There is a few reasons why I would avoid them. So one is a massive detail on top. I think they make shoes look cheap and outdated. And to be honest, even overall, I think these shoes look cheap, especially this one above bow on top. I truly believe that you can find simple, nice looking shoe even from middle segment. So it's not about the price or money, but some models really looks weird nowadays, and I truly believe that we need to avoid them. So, what kind of loafers I do recommend? Here's an example of modern loafers which you should consider to buy if you're in the market for the one. As you can see, they have more simple and understanding design, but at the same time they don't look boring. Instead, they have something to look at, but not too much. That's why it's so important to pay attention on details, since they can easily ruin it or, on the contrary, make loafers look interesting. Let's move on our next category, which are ballet flats. So, with ballet flats are harder to go wrong because it's a very traditional piece, but we still have some exceptions which I want to mention. And one of them is when they have this weird twisted detail on front. I just truly think it makes ballet flats look so cheap, especially when they are made of suede. Another model that I would not recommend is when the ballet flats have too many sequins. It's okay to buy models with some stones or sparkle, but only if it doesn't look too much. Let's say like for example this one. But unfortunately, most of the time, especially if they are talking about street fashion, they just look so cheap. That's why when we're talking about ballet flats, the more simple, the better. Let's move on to a chunky ankle boots. So this is a favorite for the season type of shoe, and again, I think it's hard to go wrong with this. But here is a few models which I think looks a little bit weird. So, my first example again had this white stitch detail, which on my opinion looks cheap and makes this shoe look kinda weird. I think it's just too much contrast. That's why it makes this shoe also less versatile and practical. I do recommend to choose something more classic and simple. Let's say something like that. This model looks clean, simple and timeless because of its style, and I think that's the perfect example for what you should go for, especially if you consider to buy them from street fashion stores. Let's move on to the heels, and I'm going to talk about sling bags. I'm actually not a big fan of this model, but I can agree that this is such a classic, versatile and elegant looking model, which works perfect as with jeans, as with trousers and cute little dresses. That's why I decided to include the shoes to this list. So let's talk about those styles which I want to avoid. And first is this black chunky heel. And it's not only this heel, which for me just doesn't work, but also this strap, which just visually cutting your leg and destroying the entire look. So something like that I will definitely avoid wearing, as well as something made of metallic. I don't mind metallic shoes, but when we're talking about sling back heels, it just doesn't look right. If you like sling bags, I will probably recommend something like that. Of course, it doesn't need to be a Prada one, but I just want to show you the simplicity of the model with the interesting touch of Prada logo detail on front, which makes the shoe look so elegant, but at the same time cool and modern. Or if you want to be super simple and classic, I will go for something like this pair from Gianvito Rossi, simple, elegant and classic. And the last pair about which I want to talk today are white sneakers. Believe me or not, it's possible to go wrong with white trainers, especially for those who likes chunky models. I don't know how to exactly describe this model, but the pair, which looks like that and has a high sole with a lot of details, just doesn't look right or modern. And again, I will avoid any embellishments on your sneakers. For the same reasons, it just looks cheap and not stylish at all. I think the point of sneakers to be more simple and classic and just to complement our casual outfits. I would suggest to go for something like that. And remember, the more simple and clean you choose the model, the more stylish and timeless it will look. So just keep it in mind. Okay, and that is it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video and found some useful information for yourself. Thank you so much for watching it. I will really appreciate if you subscribe to my channel and like to this video. Bye everyone, and hope to see you in my next videos. Mwah!